Hey guys, it's Andrew, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We're doing another video here today. We're going to make a roasted bruschetta in a cucumber shooter glass. Everybody does bruschetta. Chop some tomatoes, throw some basil in, a little bit of garlic, salt, pepper, pretty much that. We're going to do a similar thing, but we're going to be making a pesto first. I'm going to show you guys how to make a pesto. Then we're going to toss it all together with some sauteed onions, roast it in the oven, and we're going to make some little cucumber cups. And I hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you learn something. Video for this little cooking demonstration, we're going to be making, like I said, a roasted bruschetta in cucumber shooter cups. For everything we need for this, it's pretty simple. Whole garlic. This is some grated Parm cheese. The Kraft powdered stuff, whatever you want to use is good. We have an onion. We've got pine nuts. Not toasted. I'm going to toast them quickly. We'll show you how to do that. We've got some cherry tomatoes. We've got a couple regular tomatoes. Some fresh basil and cucumber. Okay, first thing we're going to do for this one is we're going to make a pesto. Very simple to do. Just need a blender, food processor, anything like that works. We've got some whole garlic. Throw that in. Just like that. Got some fresh basil. Just going to rip it up, throw it in. I've got 7 cloves of garlic in there. Doesn't have to be roasted, doesn't have to be pureed, doesn't have to be anything. Don't use the jarred pureed stuff, it's garbage. Buy this stuff, puree it yourself if you're going to do that. Basil. Got some of the Parmesan cheese. We're going to throw that in there as well. It's about 3/4 of a cup in there now. Alright, now I'm going to show you how to toast the pine nuts. It's a very simple process, but you got to be careful with it because they will burn very quickly. I'll show you guys how much. So that's just a regular little pine nut. And I'm going to show you how much oil is in them. So if you squeeze it, look at all that oil that's coming out. That's a lot of oil. So when that gets heated up, it doesn't take long for that to burn. So, put a spoon in there, stir it. Whatever you need to do to keep them from burning. Alright, so in the blender so far, we've got our garlic, Parmesan cheese, basil. We've got our nice, look at that, our nice toasted pine nuts. Look at that, you got a nice golden in there. They're still very, very hot. You got to be careful because, like I said earlier, the oils are it brings out the golden brown in the pine nut. So it's very, very hot. So we're just going to dump that all in. Now, there's no real science to measurement when you're making pesto. All that I do is about equal parts of each ingredient, except the garlic. Remember, whenever you're making something like this, you can always add ingredients. So if I want to add a little bit more garlic when this is all done, easy thing to do. Just throw another clove of garlic. You can't take it out. Once it's in there because we're going to puree it all up. Very, very difficult to take it out. So you don't want to do that. So now I'm just going to throw in some olive oil. Now this is what's going to help puree this, blend it all together. We want a nice consistency with this when it's done. We don't want it to be lumpy. We don't want it to be runny. So again, this is one of those things we're just going to add olive oil in. You can always add more. You can't take it out. So now right at the end of this, I'm going to add in some pepper. This is just a cracked black pepper. Don't really need to add salt. The Parmesan cheese is pretty salty to begin with, and because there's quite a bit in there, if you add any more salt, it's going to be too salty. So I've just got that black pepper in there. Done. Now you can take a look at this pesto. If you can see that good. Beautiful pesto, nice dark, it's all blended nice. Not too runny, not too thick. This is going to be a beautiful pesto. Alright guys, now I'm going to chop up an onion. Actually, I'm just going to julienne an onion. Very quick, very simple, basic cooking skill. Show you how to do it quick. I won't even talk. Very simple. Alright, so now we've got chopped up onion here. We've got our cherry tomatoes, grape tomatoes, whatever you want to use, whatever you can find. Right here, we have a frying pan. We have the oven ready to go. The oven's at 350. Probably about, I don't know, tablespoon of olive oil. I'm going to saute these up quickly. Don't want them to get too golden brown because we're going to throw them back in the oven. This is just pretty much to coat the onions in the oil, get them ready to go into the oven. Cherry tomatoes, they're in there too, same thing. We're just going to toss these quickly. Just want to get them coated nicely with a little bit of oil before they go in the oven. Okay, so our tomatoes and onions are starting to saute up nicely there. Don't want to saute them too quickly. When the cherry tomatoes start to heat up, the skin's gonna crack. We don't want that. We want that to happen in the oven on a lower temperature. So we're actually gonna take that off the heat now. We've got our beautiful pesto. It's gonna toss 2 teaspoons. Let's make it 3. About 3 teaspoons. I'm gonna toss this around just to get them all coated again. We're gonna throw this in the oven. Alright guys, so now the roasted tomatoes are in the oven with the pesto, with the onions. Like I said, we'll check in about 10 minutes. So now we're gonna make what we call, what I call cucumber shooter cups. Couple different ways you can do this. One way, very simple way, take a cucumber, slice them into thick rings, I guess you could call them. Another way you can do this, which is, I do a little bit of both. If I'm doing a catering, I'm doing a presentation of some sort, I'll do both ways. So this way, you take your paring knife, your cucumber, set it on its side. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this okay, but you're just going to put the tip of your knife in the cucumber and make a zigzag shape around the edge. Alright, so now you've got the start of your little cup. So all we're going to do, this is just a melon baller. Get them at the dollar store, anywhere. You're just going to put it on, scoop it out. Make a little cup, put it on, scoop it out. You don't want to go too deep. If you do happen to go all the way through, not a big deal, but you kind of want it to make it like a little cup. This is why I call this a shooter cup, because, you know, you could actually put vodka or something in there if you wanted and have a little cucumber vodka shooter. Same thing with the crown ones that I call them. May need to scoop out a little bit more. Just go in there twice. Not a big deal. Get that done. Okay, now cucumber cups are done. Bruschetta is still in the oven. I can hear it. It's starting to sizzle a little bit. It sounds like a sizzle. That's the skin of the cherry tomatoes spreading open and popping. So we want that to happen. So we're going to let that sizzle now for about 3-4 minutes. Just so most of them get done. That's going to release all the natural juices in that tomato, create a totally different flavor for the cherry tomato than if you're just to pop one in your mouth raw. It's just awesome how the flavors change and how, you know, there's all these different flavors for the same tomato. Just it changes so much by different cooking techniques and different things you do with them. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a tomato rose. You know, this is one of those things. It's very, very traditional. It's a very basic cooking skill. I'm going to show you how to do it, and then we're going to use it as a garnish on our plate after. So you're going to take your cherry or your tomato. The trick to this: very, very sharp knife. Got that here, and a firm tomato. You want a nice big firm tomato. That makes this a whole lot easier. So all you're going to do is you're going to make a little cut around the base of the tomato. Like a little C, that's what I call it. So then you're just going to put the knife in the start of that C, and you're going to go as thin as you can. You're going to keep going around and around and around as thin as you can. If you can see all knives have like lettering and words and stuff there. If you can see that through the tomato skin, you're doing beautiful. So that's what you're looking for, as thin as possible, all the way around, as far as you can go. Okay, so you've got the skin all peeled. This is what you end up with. So now you're going to take the end that you finished with, not the base, the end that you finished with. You're going to roll it back in around itself. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling. Okay, so there you go. Finish rolling. It's back on its base. You're using that as the base of the tomato, as the rose you wanted. You can see the skins are all starting to crack here, starting to get all shrivelly. Yeah, that's the technical term, all shrivelly. So that's exactly what we want it to look like when it comes out of the oven. Now, right now, this is way too hot to do anything with, so we're gonna let this sit, let it cool down a little bit. What I like to do with this, just because I love balsamic vinegar so much, is just drizzle a little bit of balsamic vinegar or balsamic vinegar reduction on top. For this, I'm going to use a little bit of reduction. We make our own balsamic reduction here, and it's a long process, so I'm not even going to show you how to do it. But you can buy this at the grocery store, or you could order it from me if you want. I just find this adds a little bit of sharpness, and because we make it quite sweet. So it's just a little bit of a sweeter edge. Alright guys, now it's time to plate. Best part of cooking, making anything, is the plate. So when you're going to look at the plate and go, because it's going to look really nice, you know, the way we've done everything here. So we've got the cucumber cups here. Just going to use your fingers for this. It's no, you know, you don't have to be all prissy and fancy about it. So you're just going to squeeze, literally squeeze those tomatoes in the cucumber. Put a little bit of the onion on top. That's all you do. Again, you just put the tomatoes in, 2 or 3 depending on the size. And they're going to pop and you're probably going to get tomato seed in the eye. And then, it's all good though. It's all part of the love of cooking. A little bit of the onion on top. So, again, you got the tomatoes, the onion on top. Now, if you've got any leftover of the tomato, this is awesome, awesome stuff to put in a salad. Just even, you know, toss it with some spinach, some romaine, whatever you want. It's really good. It adds a ton of flavor in pastas. See, shot in the eye. Don't like that. You know, you just throw this in, a little bit of olive oil, a little more garlic if you like. Throw it in. And you got a beautiful pasta. So there, that's what we've got so far. So now what you do with this, you know, you can just serve it like that if you'd like, no problem. What I like to do, you know, traditional thing that goes with bruschetta is feta cheese, right? So, I'm just going to crumble some feta on every other one here. This is just going to add a little bit of color as well. So we got feta, and then again, we're going to shoot back to our balsamic. Put that on the other ones. Just, you know, just gonna add a little bit of color. It all helps with the presentation. And then remember, like I said, we were gonna do something with that tomato rose. This is just a little brulee torch. So we're just gonna torch it. This is gonna blacken the edge of the tomato skin. Just gonna give it a little more realistic look. I'm just going to add some depth to the tomato itself, therefore it looks a little more real. And there you go. You've got beautiful roasted bruschetta cucumber shooters, cucumber cups, however you want to say them. However you say it, it's a beautiful thing. And remember, if you have any questions about anything we do, shoot me a message, email, text, whatever you want to do. My email is chefculgin@hotmail.com. Any questions, recipe, suggestions, anything you want to do, we can do that. And just remember, I'm always spreading the good food gospel. Hey guys, so I know I'm no Michael Smith, Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver. This little video I'd like to dedicate to Michael Connors. Just remember, Michael, you know, cook every dish with your heart. Everybody's gonna love it. Cheers.